Erykah Badu gave me some of the greatest advice in terms of parenting that I've ever had. I mean, she might have been the second person I called to tell that I was pregnant. And I remember telling her that I'm gonna have to stop doing music because I don't think I can do music and be a mom. Because I feel like society looks at parenting, like parenting post or being an artist after having a child is almost being irresponsible. You know what I mean? Like artists are looked at as being irresponsible. You know, there's this stigma that follows us around that we do drugs all the time and we're always drunk. And I think people have no idea how much hard work it takes to be an artist. Like, I don't know who can be drunk all the time and high all the time and really be a really good professional and be efficient at their job. So I think I was dealing with that stereotype of it's gonna look like I'm not, how can I be a good mother and still be an excellent artist, you know? And she told me, you know, you can't ever tell your children to follow their dreams if you're too afraid to follow yours. The way you show them how to follow their dreams and be their best selves is for you to follow your dreams and be your best self. So if you know that music is a part of your purpose and your calling and that's the road to you being your best self, then how could you stop? And then expect him to be his best self. He won't be able to. He won't have a blueprint. How will he know what it looks like? You know, and that really stayed with me. That really stayed with me too, because so many women I know, women in my family, some of my loved ones, you know, who have stopped doing their calling when they became parents. It never really sat right with them. They were never really able to get over it, you know, and it's a part of you that still feels unfulfilled. So even though it's difficult, it's always difficult, you know. But I tend not to ask how difficult something is. I tend to ask, is it possible? And do I want it? Then we're gonna get it done, you know? Yeah, I mean, definitely being a woman in the industry can be very challenging. I try not to harp on it too much, although it is a reality. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a reality. There are times where I know I take the blows for girls who are gonna come after me. You know what I mean? Where I may say no to something because it would compromise my integrity. And I'm not gonna get the kudos for that. You know what I mean? Like, that's not gonna pan out for me. I'm not going to get that job or be celebrated or get that award because I said something that some people didn't like, or I turned down something that I knew would compromise me. And it didn't work out for me, but it's gonna work out for someone else that comes after me. Even in terms of the business model of women leading bands and women being independent business owners and managing themselves, you know, going into rooms, negotiating their own contracts. That's not something that women weren't even respected enough to be able to negotiate their own contracts or even speak for themselves. I mean, recently, you know, even in terms of being a female musician and you walk in a room, you know, maybe with a pickup band and they look for the nearest man they can talk to about your music that you wrote because they don't think that you can speak about your own music. They don't think you know enough about your own music to talk through the chord structure with you, you know? Now I just kind of laugh at it. I'm like, you gotta talk to me, sorry. I'm the only one you can talk to about it, you know? I think sometimes you also have to educate people because sometimes I don't think everyone, you know, is just trying to be a jerk, but sometimes they're just brought up, they make those assumptions that she couldn't have done that by herself, you know what I mean? And so sometimes just like education, like, no, it's fine, you can talk to me. I understand the music, it's okay. Yeah, I think there'll come a time, I think there's already a time. I feel like when I had my son, it was way more negative assumptions around if you could move forward after having a child, you know, where a lot of women I know, even to the extent that it'll be written in their contracts that if you had a baby, you would breach the contract because you're property. So if you damage their property, you know, you lose value. And to see young women now who are having babies being able to not have those same things written in their contract and being able to bounce back and to celebrate motherhood publicly, where a lot of moms used to just hide their children. You know, they would go somewhere while they were pregnant and come bounce back without people knowing that they had a child. And there was a certain amount of shame that was associated with motherhood, or you were less valuable, you weren't sexy anymore, you weren't this, you weren't that. When honestly, motherhood has strengthened and deepened my artistry like tenfold, for sure. Like, I'm definitely a better artist because I'm a mom. Again, certain things I had to go through, I'm seeing it changing already, you know, and those girls may not ever know who opened those doors for them, and it don't even matter. But it's good to see things are changing, you know, where women's rights are starting to be validated, and you know, there's a little bit more concern about what you can and can't do to women in workspaces. You know, people are thinking twice about it. Like, should I say that really sexually degrading comment to her or no? You know, or especially in the music space, you really have to fight for every inch of respect that you get as a human being. You know, for people just not to say really rude, degrade, whatever they want to say in the moment to you and think that you should be okay with it, you know. Unless, you know, you are protected by a man. I started to realize that, like, they respect the man that you belong to, and that goes back in terms of Western culture, their philosophy of when women were the same as cattle, you know, in Europe, or when women couldn't drive in America, or when they couldn't have their own bank accounts or have a passport, or even get female care to their bodies without their father or their husband signing off on it. Like, that really wasn't even that long ago. So we've come a long way and still got a long way to go.